What's going on, Transcendent Family? Welcome to episode 7 of Skinny to Pro. And in today's episode, we're going to answer a very common question. What is the best way to burn body fat? Should I cut calories? Should I increase my activity? Should I do both? If you've ever asked yourself this question, you're going to want to stay tuned because we're going to answer it all today. Let's get it. So as you can tell, I'm already at the gym today, and I've really been enjoying just giving you all a game in between my working sets. I just like that flow. So we're going to do that again today with today's topic. But before we get into it, your boy has to do some mobility because like I said in the past video, I did hurt my back. So I got to loosen up a little bit, even though I am still going to primarily be focusing on arms. Today, we're going to really get after these biceps and a few other things. Need to jump on that mat, do a little mobility so I can warm up and just make sure I'm ready to go. All right, you all, so I just finished my mobility, but before I actually start my workout, I'm going to film a mobility video that will really help you unlock your wrist, get out of pain. I've been doing a whole series on getting your body out of pain. So if you haven't been seeing that on my channel, make sure you go check out those videos. If you want to get out of back pain, which a lot of those movements I just did are in the back pain video, hips, ankles, shoulders. Today I'll be doing wrists. You want to do it in less than 5 minutes for a lot of those videos. Make sure you tap in. Alrighty, so as y'all just saw, I just destroyed my biceps and it's gonna be hard holding this camera up. But anyways, let's get into today's topic. So if you're trying to lose body fat, what should you be doing? Should you be cutting calories? Should you be increasing your activity? Should you do both? Which one's better? Let's answer it. But first things first, let me start off by saying the most common thing that a lot of people get wrong is you go and you do both. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing to do both, but because of, I don't know if it's social media, I don't know if it's society, this super work hard mentality, and trust me, working hard is imperative. I think it's super important. You saw how I was grinding through that set, but it needs to be applied in the right manner for you to get the right results. And a lot of times, if you're already taking yourself into lower intake of food and nutrition, and then you blast yourself with the highest possible levels of activity, for a lot of you all, activity levels that you've never even hit when you were fed, it's going to lead to a bad result. So can you do both at the same time? Yes. Should you be doing it? Probably not, because a lot of you all do it wrong. You do too much. You go in too drastic of a cut and you raise your activity level way too high. Like I said, levels you haven't even seen when you were fed, and it just completely disrupts everything. And you hit a hard plateau and you're like, I'm doing a HIIT cardio, I'm running, I'm doing all this stuff, I'm only eating 1,300 calories. What's happening? It's just too much for the body, and the body just throws up a big middle finger at you and says, hey, nah, partner, I ain't doing nothing. Calls you a sucker and you stuck. Okay, so you're telling me if I shouldn't do both, what should I do? Again, I'm not telling you shouldn't do both. I'm just saying you're probably going to get it wrong. But let's start off this conversation of which one's better by talking about the pros and cons, and then I'll let you know which one I feel like most of you all should probably start with. It is pouring down outside, so I hope you all can hear me. It's getting crazy. But let's go ahead and start with increased activity. So the pros of increased activity is if you just increase your activity, put yourself in a caloric deficit, you have less reins on what you have to eat. Now pause. Before you go crazy and you're like, oh snap, it fits your macros. If it fits your macros, let's go ahead and get the pizza going. Let's get everything, throw the shakes, whatever, fries. Like, no. When I say you have a little bit more leeway, you can take some of the reins off, you still need to be eating whole foods. That means going to the grocery store, staying on the outside rim, potatoes, rice, vegetables, fruits, and lean meats. If you do that, you're going to be healthier. For one, you're going to increase your health span, and you're going to get to your goal quicker. Now, if you're someone that's like, hey, I'm trying to take my time, I'm shucking and jiving, you know what I'm saying? You can incorporate a little bit of that nonsense, some of them processed foods, if you want to. But again, like I said, if you want to do it in a more timely manner and you want to be healthier, I would suggest doing it through whole foods. All right, so you're telling me I can eat pretty much anything I want to, and all I have to do is make sure I get enough activity to burn it off. Why wouldn't I choose this option? And that's a great question, which is the thought process that a lot of people, and you yourself may have actually went into it with when you set out on your weight loss journey. But as we see every single year, millions of people start a weight loss journey to either get plateaued, give up from being plateaued too long, or they lose the weight and they put it back on. And they're typically taking this approach. So you think that would tell most people there has to be a better way, which leads me to the con. You have to move to burn enough calories to lose weight. And if you're in America and you haven't noticed, we have this not moving problem where we just sit down and we're just stationary most of the day. And because of that, you're not going to really burn as many calories each and every day. Most of us have sedentary jobs where we sit at an office for 8 to 10 hours a day. Some of y'all 11, working for somebody else. Anyways, 11 hours a day. No shade, no shade. 11 hours a day, and then you wonder why this activity idea is not good business, because what it leads you to do is you get off work and then you have to hit the Stairmaster for about 45 minutes to an hour. You're holding on to it. You're falling down. You're trying to run. As soon as you eat an Oreo, you're like, oh snap, I gotta run another 0.2 miles. Wait, that's another Oreo, another 0.2 miles. And it's just this endless cycle. And you run into this issue of, I can't burn enough calories through activity throughout the day to keep myself continuously in a caloric deficit. All right, so before we go on to discuss the pros and cons of cutting calories from what you're eating each day, I do have to address a small percentage of the population, and that's people that just have a lot of activity. And yes, I'm talking about America, because I know some of you are watching from another country and you're like, we all walk. I'm talking about America when I say this. So, and no shade though, right? But this is for my people that are UPS drivers that are like, hey, I get 30 to 40,000 steps a day, easy. Right? My mail carriers, my farmers, where your lowest day is 20,000, and that's just a light day. If that's you, you can use activity. You'll still need to bring your calories down depending on where you're at, but you can largely rely on your activity because you just get it every single day on command, and you're so far above the average, even beyond what the bare minimum is needed to be healthy, that you're going to get a lot of benefits that, again, everybody else that's in a sedentary job sitting all day is not going to get. Now, on to the pros and cons of getting into a caloric deficit by cutting how many calories you're consuming every single day. Now, the first pro is you don't have to move as much. You don't have to worry about your watch heating you up every 2 seconds saying, hey, you got to burn another 500 calories. You got to burn another 500 calories. And here's the caveat. This does not mean you don't have to move at all. Research has shown that you will get so many health benefits by getting between 6,000 and 8,000 steps a day. You're going to want to do that. But outside of that, you don't have to get into these crazy ranges. You don't have to become a marathon runner. You can really just manipulate your nutrition and start to see regular and continuous, sustainable progress. Okay, cool. So continuous, sustainable results and progress. Why wouldn't I do that? Well, the con is you'll have to eat less. And God forbid we tell anybody to eat less in today's times, because most of us are super privileged. We've never actually went without, like truly without. And for those of you that have, my heart goes out to you. But majority of us, we haven't truly starved. So to take yourself and put yourself in a mindset, hey, I'm still gonna eat whole foods, right? That is the biggest point for both of them. You need to eat whole foods, increase your health span. It's gonna make it more timely in terms of the results. But actually get yourself in a mindset like, hey, I don't have to eat as much. And really embracing that and doing that for 6 to 8 weeks at a time will really get you some great fat loss progress. So, in my humble opinion, that just so happens to be made up of 7+ years of coaching everyday people to not only get results, but keep their results, and for doing it for myself, not even trying to brag, for several years, I would say that cutting your calories by taking out how much you're eating every single day is going to be the best way to go, because by doing that, those days that your activity isn't as high, again, this is a Western point of view. This is a viewpoint of someone that's not a UPS driver, that's not having all this extenuous activity. You're going to be able to go a lot further from just bringing your calories from what you're eating every single day. So when it comes to which is the best way to lose body fat, do I cut calories out of how much I'm eating every single day, or do I just bring up my activity? Naturally, what you've seen from this conversation, I'm leaning towards the side of cutting your calories because, again, like I said, anecdotal experience, client experience, and just looking at the world around us, we just don't move enough for the other option to be the superior option. So if you get stuck with this, drop it in the comments section down below, because like I said, it really is a it depends scenario. If you are someone that gets a lot of activity based on your job or your hobbies, there could be times where it's like, hey, maybe it makes more sense to let most of your caloric deficit come from your activity. But if not, I really think you'll be far better served by just bringing down the amount of calories you're consuming every single day. And without further ado, hit that subscribe button. How else are you going to know when we put out the next episode of Skinny the Pro? I hope you all have been enjoying the way I've been doing it. I've been loved really just getting into the details and giving you all some game, because I know you can get on ChatGPT, you can get on Google and just leave that and still be confused. So here is a place where you can ask questions. We can apply it directly to you, and you can get results that actually last. And before you leave, make sure you tap that like button. And like I said, you already know, comment down below so we can have a conversation. And without further ado, you know I love you, but most importantly, Jesus loves you. Peace.